Greyhound bus, dawn, December 4th, Cleveland, Ohio. The loudspeaker in the bus comes on as the driver prepares to make an announcement. We'll be arriving in Cleveland, Ohio in a few minutes. There will be a 40-minute layover. For those of you traveling on to New York, you will be changing buses here. Make sure you get your luggage from under the coach. For everyone else, your trip ends here in Cleveland. Please make sure you take all of your belongings. Thank you for driving Greyhound. The passengers gather their belongings and exit the bus. Michael Merconi and Bobby Rods are the last of the passengers to exit. Merconi and Rods wait on the side of the bus to retrieve their luggage. Merconi picks up his bags and waves goodbye to Bobby Rods. Merconi now walks into the Cleveland, Ohio terminal. It is 6 a.m., December 4th. He then heads directly to gate number 11 and waits online for his next connecting bus. 10 minutes later, the terminal bus arrival doors open. Michael Merconi observes the Flynn brothers as they enter the bus terminal. The boarding doors from gate number 11 now open. The driver begins checking passenger tickets. One by one, passengers start boarding the bus, headed to Pittsburgh. Merconi stares in the directions of the customer service area where the Flynn brothers are waiting in line. Merconi thinking out loud. After all the passengers on my bus had boarded, I looked out the window of the bus and observed the Flynn brothers outside of the terminal doors, watching my bus leave the terminal. Merconi's thoughts are now interrupted when the loudspeaker in the bus comes on as the driver prepares to make an announcement. We'll be arriving in Pittsburgh at approximately 1 p.m. For those of you continuing on to New York, I will be issuing you all reboarding passes. Michael Merconi finds a seat in the rear of the bus. No sooner than the bus pulling out of the terminal, you can hear a loud rumbling coming from the wheels of the coach. It sounded like the wheels are about to fall off. Merconi's thoughts begin to race. As the bus headed down the highway, it felt like it was bottoming out. The suspension on the bus was shot. I was now concerned that the bus wasn't even safe enough to make it to Pittsburgh. I couldn't believe the driver would even take a chance on driving the bus under these conditions. Fortunately for us, the bus somehow made it to our destination on schedule. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Terminal, 1 p.m., December 4th. Merconi now exits the bus, picks up his luggage, and heads to gate number 15. The bus driver opens boarding gate number 15 and begins checking passengers' tickets. One by one, the passengers start boarding the bus, going to Philadelphia. As Merconi waits his turn in line to reboard the bus, his thoughts begin to flutter. I stared around the terminal looking instinctively for the Flynn brothers. The brothers were nowhere in sight. The passengers now board the bus, and Merconi again takes a seat in the rear of the bus. The loudspeaker in the bus comes on as the driver prepares to make an announcement. We'll be arriving in Philadelphia at 7 p.m. Please take all of your belongings when leaving this bus. This bus will be out of service. Merconi again thinking out loud. The noise from the undercarriage of the bus made it impossible to relax. I could tell by the tone of the bus driver's voice that the driver was concerned about the safety of the passengers. I kept my eyes glued to the road. Greyhound Terminal, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Baggage handlers begin loading the luggage compartment. Passengers are putting their bags on the ground next to the rear of the coach. The driver takes one look at the bus and shakes his head in disbelief. The driver now makes an announcement. I'm sorry to inform you that this is not the right bus. I don't know why this bus was chosen, but it will never make it to New York. I am taking it out of service. I apologize for the inconvenience. I want everyone to return to the terminal. All the disappointed passengers pick up their luggage and enter the doors of the terminal. The passengers return to the gate from which they came with all their possessions in hand. A weary-eyed Michael Merconi returns to gate number 16 and waits online with all of the passengers. After a 40-minute wait, the bus driver returns and makes an announcement. We are now boarding for New York City. Everyone please have your ticket ready. I am sorry for the delay. The bus driver once again starts checking tickets one by one. The passengers begin boarding the bus. Merconi navigates to a seat near the back of the bus. After the passengers are seated and the bus is on its way, the loudspeaker in the bus comes on as the driver prepares to make an announcement. We will be arriving in New York City at approximately 11:45 p.m. I'm sorry for the delay. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for riding Greyhound. Merconi now stares out the window and watches as the bus travels down the New Jersey Turnpike headed towards New York City. Merconi once again thinking out loud. The closer we got to New York, the more nervous I became. I had this knot in my stomach. I was getting the feeling that I had not seen the last of the Flynn brothers. I began thinking of ways that I could quickly disappear into the night without being followed or even killed. Merconi's thoughts are now interrupted by the sight of the Lincoln Tunnel. The bus heads through the tunnel and then turns into the Port Authority bus terminal. Once the bus comes to a complete stop, the loudspeaker in the bus comes on and the driver prepares to make an announcement. We are now in New York City. For those of you continuing on from New York, you will be changing buses here. If New York is your final destination, please make sure you take all of your personal belongings. Thank you for your patience, and as always, thank you for going Greyhound. Merconi quickly gathers his belongings and exits the bus. He waits outside of the bus with all the passengers who are waiting for the baggage handlers to pull out the bags. Merconi takes a quick look at his surroundings and sees the Flynn brothers talking to two men in the terminal. Merconi blends in with the passengers and grabs his luggage without the Flynn brothers noticing him. Merconi immediately heads towards the side door to enter the New York City Port Authority terminal. Directly inside of the terminal, the Flynn brothers are standing near the doors with two men. They are all waiting for the passengers to begin entering the terminal. John Flynn is talking to someone on his cell phone. Merconi enters the terminal, walks over to a public telephone where he places his luggage at his feet. He then puts coins into the phone to make a call. Myrna, this is Michael. I just arrived at Port Authority. I'll call you when I get to Brooklyn. Merconi gathers his luggage and gets on the escalator heading towards street level. The four men follow closely. As Merconi gets to the top of the escalator, he takes a quick look back. Merconi, running like a deer, sneaks out a side door of the Port Authority terminal. As soon as Merconi gets outside of the doors of the terminal, he takes off his backpack and pulls out a box of Cheerios cereal and sprinkles the cereal on the ground. Merconi bangs on the glass doors at the side entrance. All four men take off running, trying to catch Merconi. After exiting the door, they all slip and fall. Merconi laughs as he blends into the crowd. Merconi sees a cab and quickly loads his luggage. The taxi cab driver is a young Muslim man with olive complexion, approximately age 30, wearing a beard. The man turns and introduces himself to Merconi. Merconi slumps in the back seat, making it more difficult to be detected. My name is Khalid Ali. Where would you like to go? I need to get to Brooklyn. I want you to step on it. Anything you say. Khalid Ali starts the car and pulls out into busy traffic. The taxi cab driver makes a U-turn on 42nd Street. Merconi sees the Flynn brothers walking on 8th Avenue. He observes the other two men crossing 42nd Street. Merconi can now see and hear a black helicopter flying overhead. Merconi again, thinking out loud. My cab driver made a U-turn in busy Midtown traffic as if he were Mario Andretti driving the Indianapolis 500. Khalid Ali navigated his way on the FDR highway heading south. Traveling on the highway, I felt a sense of relief. The taxi exited at the Delancey Street exit. Ali then took the back streets in Lower Manhattan and headed over the Williamsburg Bridge into Brooklyn. Within a matter of minutes, he had arrived at my destination. Knoll Street Apartments, Brooklyn, New York. Merconi pays the taxi cab driver and then unloads his luggage from the back seat of the taxi cab. Khalid Ali rolls down the window to talk to Merconi. I hope your brother is all right. I will pray for him. Merconi points up to the night sky before answering. From your mouth to God's ear. Thanks, Ali. As Merconi waited in the lobby for Myrna, he heard the roar of a black helicopter overhead. Merconi now thinking out loud. I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall when these knuckleheads had to write their report.